And for Vermont, this matchup you're looking at right now, the face-offs. Andrew McMeekin wearing orange right now. Didn't start the season the way he wanted to. He has rounded into form. Vermont, one of the best face-off teams in the nation.
Got the color rush matchup. Princeton in the orange, Vermont in the green. Henry Dodge came away cleanly, but he clamped down, so it'll go back to Princeton.
This year that are just strength and will.
Bardwell, a big guy, 6'1", 215, returning starter as a sophomore. 35 on the Princeton shot clock. Here's Coulter Mackesy. Short stick matchup, natural left hand, goes low on the wet turf, and it's 1-0 Tigers. If there's one thing defensively you probably need to avoid, it's Coulter Mackesy, short stick, left side.
Correct. This is textbook Coulter Mackesy. We've seen it literally hundreds of times at this point. You cannot let him roll back to that strong left hand and get his hands free, especially against a short stick.
Bullock, that was Huguenard getting the start today.
Good job of recovering by the Vermont Catamount defense.
Not a lot of clean shot opportunities for the Tigers, and right on cue, Mackesy makes it back-to-back goals, and it's 2-0. Time and space for the Tewaaraton candidate.
And that's the last thing you want to give 91. 2 goals for the Tigers, 2 goals for Mackesy as he continues to just go up the record books here at Princeton. One of the best in history, continues to pile on the goals off stick the right way with a good foundation, and that's save percentage and face-off percentage. And there's an old adage in coaching, as Vermont tries to work it around, that if your save percentage and your face-off percentage add up to 100, you're in good shape. Vermont, oh, what a save by Croddick. Croddick will look to clear, but essentially Vermont needs to dare others to beat them. Cannot let Mackesy run free up top.
Top midfield back out there. Tucker Wade has the short stick matchup, gets the early slide as the Tigers cycle it through Burns. Kabiri back up through Bonanno, the freshman, topside. Mackesy did not look like he had a shooting lane, but he singes it early. Hat trick for number 91, and it's all Princeton early.
I think he wants to take this suspense out of the record book talk that we keep having. What a start for 91. The long sticks there just can't get the 6-foot pole on 91, and it's the flick of the wrist.
Second contest at home in Burlington against Manhattan, suffered a leg injury. So Pope out for the season. Jake D'Andrea, their starting goalie, out for the season. Max Frattaroli missed the first 6 games. He's got 9 goals in 2 games since.
Frattaroli is trying to get open on the crease. Princeton doing a nice job of keeping Vermont on the outside, and when you keep 2 quick shots for Wade as he got his own rebound. Kabiri with a quick restart. Looks like he's going to look for a pick.
How about that feed by Palumbo? You talk about midfielders with an attack skill set. Bonanno, I don't think that was intended for him, but he caught it, got a good look. Ryan Daly with his 3rd save. All 3 Princeton goals by that man, number 91, Coulter Mackesy. Mackesy gives it up, gets it back, mishandled on the low feed. Now Kabiri up top. Through Bonanno, Chad Palumbo tries the swim dodge, gets the screen, goes top shelf and scores.
Chad Palumbo was really a distributor the first few games of the season. They took a trip down to Tobacco Road, played Duke and North Carolina. The second half of that UNC game, 4 goals, and he has not looked back.
Princeton able to clear it. Fairback had the ground ball, feathered it back up ahead, or rather Spies had the ground ball, feathered it up ahead to Fairback. Final 40 seconds, shot clock not a factor on this Princeton possession. Trying to tack on to what's been a tremendous first quarter. Great save going down low. Daly on the snipe. Came in from Carson Kramer. Princeton picks it up with a fresh shot clock.
Good save by Daly. Used his body well, and that can hurt when it comes from Kramer.
Shot by Cameron. Again, not a clean save by Daly, so Princeton will have their 3rd opportunity on this possession. 10 seconds to go in the opening quarter. Cameron turns around, didn't have the angle. Kabiri there with 6.5 to play. They've got a couple of Canadians on the roster, which makes sense. One of their face-off man, Walter Zhao. Allentown, New Jersey, a high school that didn't have a lacrosse program 2 decades ago. Across to Palumbo, up top Wade, now Mackesy with the shot clock at 25. Nate Kabiri, Wade. Tried to go high again, I think. Vermont able to get a stick on that shot. Tatum Lewis, that's the third or fourth time they've gotten the stick up in the shooting lane.
They're doing a nice job of stretching out up top.
15 on the shot clock, turning the corner. There's 4 in the first half for Mackesy. 4 very different goals by Coulter Mackesy.
I think the only thing they all have in common is that they came with the left hand, which is the strong hand for Mackesy. But you see what he does. He uses 1 Tiger and 2 Catamounts as a screen, shoots over really all 3 of them, and that's just really hard for Daly, that not even all of it finds the field, especially when you talk about attack and even more so defense. A lot of these attackmen, and you have 6 great attackmen, you can work them into the offensive midfield, but close defenders, really only 3 or 4.
Titles over a decade or so. Had a little bit of a lull, but back with an exclamation point. You talk about it. Back-to-back Ivy Tournament champions and continuing to stack top recruiting classes. They've had a lot of consistency on the coaching staff. How about that save by Croddick? Vermont stays scoreless. Here's Kabiri, part of that talented sophomore class. They were the #1 recruiting class in the country last year. 9 of them making an impact regularly this season. Found a trail checked away, scooped up Jack Combs, the sophomore, looking to run. Combs last year, 26 caused turnovers. He was a first-team all-conference selection.
Got to let this fly.
There's a bouncer from the trailer. Eggebrown, the defensive midfielder, who misfires and heads back to the sideline. Not bumped out of the stick, may have just slipped out in the slick field conditions, but it'll stay with the Tigers.
And talk about the third midfield getting some burn against Lehigh on Tuesday and today early against Vermont. Again, Princeton has got to finish strong. Wow, Burns on the doorstep. Palumbo finds him. Doesn't get easier than that.
Chad Palumbo, he's got 1 point today. He's got 2 shots, but what he's been able to do off ball has been really impressive. Colin Burns, coming off a 5-point night, has another goal, his 16th.
Yeah, when you think of Chad Palumbo, you think strong, the powerful shot. How about the finesse, the no-look pass to Burns?
What a defensive effort by the Tigers. Down a starter, down maybe their top defensive midfielder in Jackson Green. Finn Fox, one of their top long stick midfielders, a talented freshman, not in the lineup today. There's a great opportunity, and finally Vermont on the scoreboard. Keen Paris with some time and space.
Great job by Paris of getting that shot on Cage. And again, he uses a screen. I don't think Croddick saw that get through the defense. Kind of skipped low off the wet field turf here at Sherrod Field. Take a look at this. Bit of a worm burner, goes 5-hole against the talented goaltender. And as you said, Vermont finally gets on the board.
And now Sean Cameron. Cameron's been quiet recently, has been a really good offensive player in his career, hasn't scored in a couple games. Figure that's going to change at some point soon. Dunphy splits the defense, bouncer saved by Daly. It's the 3rd or 4th time recently where Princeton's had numbers, they've had that odd man break opportunity, and they've decided to be really patient. Tucker Wade, Palumbo out of the box, left hand, and he snipes it on the run. Second of the day for the junior from Massachusetts, and Princeton gets the 6-goal lead back. Chad Palumbo out of the box. We haven't seen a lot of that this season, but took advantage.
No, just never stopped his forward momentum, catches it on the run. There were about 50 different ways to shoot that shot. I think that's about the 50th way. I expected him to do it kind of a 3-quarter underhand to the top corner.
Burns over to Bonanno, makes the extra pass. Palumbo didn't have the angle. Now Mackesy, who's got 4 goals. Nate Kabiri, body on body.
So good with low angle, but a great job by the Vermont defense, again, getting in the way.
Shot clock never reset, 5 to shoot. Skip pass, topside, slings high. Never got the cage, or did it? Coulter Mackesy's got 4, the Tigers 7. Palumbo's got 2. Here's Wade. Top side, knocked away by Daly. Burns, Kabiri, Mackesy on attack. Palumbo, Bonanno, and Wade at the midfield. Palumbo had 2 first-half goals, draws the triple. That sets up Wade. Mackesy there to back it up.
Good shot by Wade, kind of hung the stick low and then goes high to try to get Daly to bite.
35 on the Princeton shot clock. Mackesy, top side, stick save Daly.
Kramer, one of the hardest shots on the team, tried to find Burns inside, unable to do so. Good defense by the Catamounts. Can they clear the ball here? It would be a great change of possession. We may get a loose ball here.
Riker Demarest blocked the shot, scooped up the ground ball.
Not allowing 18 to get his stick free. He's a box player by trade. We talk about the Canadians that actually come south, right? Pretty much everyone from the U.S. goes north to play at Vermont. The Canadians come south, but they're playing indoor box lacrosse up there. A completely different game, especially on attack. Here's Burns off the quick restart. Over to Wade, who we highlighted before the game, but haven't talked a ton about today. It's been the Mackesy show, and now Kabiri gets one past Daly.
Vermont just lost track of the sophomore from McLean, Virginia, who gets on the scoreboard, his first of the contest.
Kabiri has got such a diverse skill set with what he can do from X. This time just takes what the defense gives him, which is a ton of green grass and little to no pressure. Able to throw a couple stick fakes up there and beat Daly. What a Final Four that was, the longest, probably semifinal Saturday in NCAA history, with a multi-hour lightning delay in Game 1, pushing the Princeton game to darkness.
Not sure I've ever seen a team get to the stadium, have to leave and come back. Vermont gets their second goal of the contest. Comes topside, and that's Sam Bowen, who we didn't see a lot of in the first half, but he makes it 8-2.
What a shot by Bowen, low to high to beat Croddick. We'll take another look. Low angle, no problem for 55 to cash one in. Nice little celebration.
Now Dunphy below goal line extended. Burns trying to lower his left shoulder. Pass floats high, shot by Cameron blocked. It'll stay with the Tigers.
And how many shots have the Catamounts blocked today? Getting between the shooter and the goaltender on a cold day.
Dunphy on the restart, comes topside, finds its way to Burns. Burns trying to shovel it in, wrapping it around, no flag. Stayed out of the crease somehow, and Princeton can't corral it. Through Tucker Wade at the top of the box, top midfield line out for the Tigers with 3.5 minutes to go here in the third. Mackesy working on a 4-goal day. He had a first quarter hat trick. Spacing not great for the Tigers, so they'll work it through Kabiri. Now Burns at X wraps it around and somehow sneaks it in, almost identical to what the Tigers tried on their last possession. Burns has his second of the day, and it's 9-2 Princeton.
Daly, the Catamount goaltender, has been so good on the low-angle shots today, but not that time. Colin Burns, his body certainly is not above goal line extended. I think the head of his stick may have been the only thing above goal line extended, but he sneaks it past the talented goaltender, 5-hole. And Princeton gets its 9th goal of the day. At Georgetown Prep, Nate Kabiri.
Sean Stevens able to get just enough of his stick on that to break it up. Restart for Princeton, still 40 on the shot clock. Mackesy low, saved by Daly. That's number 17 for the sophomore.
What a day for Daly. And Vermont is going to get this, and a quick whistle and a restart.
9-2 Princeton on top, trying to run circles behind the cage. Here's Davis, the D3 transfer. Gets it over to Cullen Decker, and a pretty goal by the Catamounts. Second goal by Vermont late in the third quarter, and they're trying to mount a comeback.
Cullen Decker back home in the state of New Jersey, the Chatham High School product. Gets topside with the left hand.
Burns up top, Palumbo draws the slide, now Wade.
Great defense, shot clock under 10.
Tigers have to go. There's a shot and a tough angle and another Princeton goal, and that's Burns again.
Now the last one, low angle, but really close to the cage, right on the doorstep of the crease, goal line extended. This one a couple yards wide, the radius a little wider, the result the same. A great job by Burns. It almost looks mathematically impossible to score from there.
Colin Burns has the hat trick after Burns had a 5-point night on Tuesday against Lehigh in that Princeton victory. Clean face-off win. Here comes Dodge. Gets taken down from behind. That'll get the first flag of the night on the field. We talked a lot earlier about the balance scoring of the Tigers, and then it looked like Coulter Mackesy was trying to throw that right back in our faces. 4 early goals, but Mackesy, he's got 4 points. Palumbo's got 4 points. Burns has a hat trick. The top defensive recruit in this recruiting class, he's a freshman and also playing without Jackson Green, who might be the best defensive midfielder in the conference. There's Cameron, tries to go low, saved by Daly. For the Catamounts and for Princeton, they've got nothing but Ivy League contests coming up.
And again, Cornell, you want to call it out of the way, although you assume if all went to plan. Wow, another flag against Princeton. Talked about how rare it is to see one. Now 2 in quick succession, and Vermont with another opportunity to go 6-on-5 on offense.
Vermont wasn't able to capitalize on their last man-up opportunity as we wait for the call. Top 10 recruit, according to Inside Lacrosse, starting for the 4th straight game with the top midfield. 10 to shoot. Nate Kabiri, short stick matchup. Burns behind the back, didn't have the angle. They're going to say it doesn't reset. And with the ball down on the turf before it gets to Mackesy, they wave it off for the shot clock violation.
Yeah, pretty clear there.
Through Cullen Decker. Davis fought off by Mulshine.
Again, got to move the ball quickly. You got to get a shot off. 5 seconds left on a 60-second penalty.
They get the shot they want, and as the penalty's about to expire, finally a man-up goal. And finally, the sophomore Max Frattaroli checks into the scoring column for the Catamounts.
The heartbeat of the team, according to head coach Chris Fikes, gets on the board. 18, natural lefty from Canada, gets one past Croddick here in the 4th quarter, low to low. Beautiful execution with the shooting opportunities. Take anything above goal line extended with hands free and a good percentage. Got to let it fly.
Harrison Josloff, first time we've seen him from Short Hills, New Jersey, and that'll reset the shot clock. Another crossbar drawn by the Catamounts on the putback. What a return fire by Goldstein. Right place, right time, and Vermont within 5 late.
Great job by Goldstein finding that top right corner. Some life from the Catamount crowd, who traveled well here to Princeton today. A couple of New Jersey players on the roster. Some of the trips not as far as the team made from Burlington. I thought that first one might have rattled the cage first, but Goldstein follows it up and makes sure that one gets in. Under 2 to go. Princeton comfortably up 5, but a nice run by the Vermont Catamounts after just 2 goals for far too long today, and they'll look to make it 6.
Cruz, the freshman, has his stick checked away from behind, a Princeton turnover, and then as Vermont clears it into the box, timeout Catamounts. He's got 12 saves on the contest. 35 on the shot clock. Now Henry Dodge grabbing Davis.
Good shot. Under a minute, 32 on the shot clock.
Colin Decker carrying into the midfield, working on Spees. Feet across, they had the cutter. Davis couldn't connect, and it's going back towards Princeton.
Great game, and what a confidence booster to have your career high away from home against a top 5 team as you head into the home stretch of conference play and try to make a run.
Cameron just trying to get out of harm's way, tosses it away. Daly comes up with it as the final few seconds tick off the clock.